Hello, everyone. I am Jenny,
Hi, I'm Nicole.
and we are back. And today we are going to tap on something we're all probably fairly aware of, if not experiencing on a daily basis, which is surviving. I mean, I don't know if that's really how we want to sum it up, but it's the anxiety that we produce in order to feel like we're being productive. And a lot of us are stuck in this sympathetic state. So our nervous system goes into overdrive and we just stay stuck there. And then what ends up happening is it becomes a pattern. And when it becomes a pattern, it then is acceptable for us to live in the state of anxiety because we feel like that is what makes us productive
And efficient.
and efficient. And this week I had a client that we tapped on something like this. So we're going to do a little bit of a different variation of it. Uh, but I just had this thought, why isn't this something that Nicole and I tap on together for this video? Because I think we all experience bouts of this, if not live in it on a daily basis. And the other thing is it's very sneaky.
Mm,
Right? Because it just kind of sneaks in and becomes a part of our everyday life. And then we feel like we need it in order to function better.
yep.
We don't want to feel anxious and we don't want to feel like we're rushing and that we have a million things on our plate. For me, it shows up as overwhelm. I don't necessarily feel anxious, but I just get this overwhelming feeling.
Hmm.
But that overwhelming feeling for me sneaks in and it says, "Oh my gosh, you have so much to do." And I have recognized that now as my poker, the one that tells me I'm not doing enough. And it helps me act as if I'm being more productive, even though I'm doing nothing. So, like,
Hmm.
if I worry about all the things I have to do, then at least I'm doing something,
Right.
right? But it's such an unpleasant feeling,
Hmm.
whether it's anxiety or rushing or overwhelm, that we don't want it, but we also aren't sure what it feels like to do things on a daily basis and not feel that way. So
Right.
that conflict is what we're going to be tapping on today.
Hmm.
I don't know. Did you have anything to add before we start?
Well, and also, like you and I talk about it all the time, like when we show up saying I am this thing instead of like I feel this thing, it's a lot different when we're acknowledging the feeling that we're having, because feeling anxious and then walking around saying I am anxious, I am rushing, it takes you know, it it takes the pressure off when we say we're feeling this thing rather than we are. Like we identify as this person in life of rushing all the time and having to rush, rather than I'm feeling anxious, which is causing me to move faster. It's nice to recognize it differently as a feeling.
Yes, not taking it on as part of your identity.
Yes.
Because once you make it a part of who you are, then that almost embeds it into your makeup and
Hmm.
how you respond to things on a daily basis.
And just think of that narrative for 20 plus years. I am anxious. I am an anxious person. I'm an anxious person. When you meet people and you talk about that, that's who you present with. I am, instead of, yeah, I feel anxious sometimes. It's a big difference to take that level of intensity off by saying, yeah, I'm having this feeling rather than in I am all this.
Hmm. I actually had like a physical response when you were between the two, when you were just saying that I am anxious versus I feel anxious. And this can also get into parts work, which we won't get into today, but it's removing this part of you that you don't necessarily love. Um, and it's just saying, this is a part of me that is doing the best it can
Hmm.
to protect me or to make me feel safe, because that's ultimately what all our parts are doing. So your anxious part, we're going to tap for today. We're not going to do it in parts work necessarily, but um yeah, just seeing it as a feeling or a part allows you some separation of that from your identity as who you
Hmm.
are. So just keep that in mind while you're tapping.
Yes. And so I thought we'll just tap on some of the things that we discussed before. So even though when I am in an anxious state, I get things done, rushing means I'm efficient.
I like it.
And then I accept myself and how I feel.
Okay.
Anything else you would like to add? Jenny?
Not at the moment, but maybe next time around.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and take a breath. We'll start tapping on your side of your hand under your pinky and repeat after me. Even though when I am in an anxious state,
Even though when I am in an anxious state,
I get things done.
I get things done.
Rushing means I am efficient
Rushing means I'm efficient
and productive.
and productive.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Switch hands. Even though when I'm in an anxious state,
Even though when I'm in an anxious state,
I get things done.
I get things done.
Rushing means I am efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Switch back one more time. Even though when I am in an anxious state,
Even though when I am in an anxious state,
I get things done.
I get things done.
Rushing means I am efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Take a breath. Eyebrows right where the hair starts. When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
Side of your eyes. Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Under your eyes. When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
Under your nose. Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Under your mouth. When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
Collarbones. Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Under your arm. When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
When I'm in an anxious state, I get things done.
Top of your head right in the middle. Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
Rushing means I'm efficient and productive.
And I'm ready to bring healing to this.
And I'm ready to bring healing to this.
And take a breath here. How did that feel?
Good. I feel calmer now. I didn't know I wasn't feeling calm, but now but now I feel even calmer, so that's nice. Um, yeah, it's
Well,
interesting. It's very true at
yes.
certain points in my life.
And it just goes to show that even if it's not something that was super specific to you, you were
Hmm.
still able to get a benefit from it, which is your nervous system feels calmer and, grounded, whereas it wasn't your specific topic to tap on.
Yeah, it's true. And for to further the identity discussion that we were having before, I do remember at certain points in my life that being true is like I had to be rushing and I had to be busy and I had to feel anxious and what was the next thing and um shifting out of that took a very conscious decision. This was before tapping. And I started really having to focus on being early to things and really having to focus. And it's like shifting into a new identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought while we were doing that, tapping would have made things so much easier to
Yeah.
be able to do that because I did fully identify with having to do that all the time.
Yes. And even,
Yeah.
with this round of tapping, you can swap out anxious for anything. Even when I procrastinate,
Right.
and have this pressure on me, I'm more productive and efficient. Like, think about all the college students who say this, I crammed all night long. I have to wait to the last minute to do that paper because I'll get it done. And you create this identity again rather than, wow,
Mm-hmm.
what if I do a little every day? You'll still get the same thing done rather
Mm-hmm.
than you've told this narrative that you have to hold on to. Because if you don't, then the potential of not getting it done. So we could swap out anxious for anything that comes to be specific in our lives.
Yeah, it could be worry. It could be a lot of things. Something else is when you were talking, I may have lost it. Um, oh, it is imagining what that new version feels like.
Mm,
It's very foreign. So if you're used to doing something or feeling a certain way around getting things done, it is going to feel very foreign. So using your example of the college student
Mm-hmm.
who crams, and that's probably something that college student has gotten used to, and that's just what they do in order to be productive and get things done and know what it's on the test. It might feel too easy to them to do a little bit every day, like they should be doing more.
Mm.
And so it's also recognizing, if I clear this, if I kind of take down the intensity around it,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be intentional about how you want that to look and how you want that to feel and whether or not you're going to be okay with those feelings.
Yes. Yes. And tapping is used for all of those answers,
Mm-hmm.
really. All those cognitive shifts happen with tapping. Like you figure out all of those deep rooted beliefs that have been created from just, tapping on your body to change something the way you were thinking in your mind.
Excuse
Bless you,
me.
is just
Thank you.
fascinating.
Okay, so what do you think about going there next? I don't know what you had in mind, but what do you think about just simply tapping on that question? What would it feel like to
Mm.
be productive without feeling anxious or worrying or rushed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forget that tapping also is good for asking a question like that.
Yes. Yeah, I know, me too. And it is good for asking a question because we believe the body is synonymous with the subconscious. And so there's a wisdom that comes up, and that's, it will come in as a thought, it will come in, some people will hear a little voice in their head, it will come in just as a
Mhm.
feeling. But oftentimes when we tap through something, your nervous system relaxes, the wisdom of the body will speak to you, and that's where we go next. So, yeah, let's ask and see what comes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and take a breath. Side of your hand under your pinky and repeat after me. Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
and not feel anxious?
and not feel anxious?
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Switch hands. Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
and not feel anxious?
and not feel anxious?
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Switch back one more time. Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
Even though, what would it feel like to be productive
and not feel anxious?
and not feel anxious?
I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
Take a breath. Eyebrows right where the hair starts. What would it feel like to be productive?
What would it feel like to be productive
Side your eyes and not feel anxious.
and not feel anxious?
Under your eyes. What would it feel like to be productive?
What would it feel like to be productive
Under your nose and not feel anxious.
and not feel anxious?
Under your mouth. What would it feel like to be productive?
What would it feel like to be productive
Collarbones and not feel anxious.
and not feel anxious?
Under your arm. What would it feel like to be productive?
What would it feel like to be productive
Top of your head and not feel anxious.
and not feel anxious?
And I'm ready to bring healing to this.
And I'm ready to bring healing to this.
And take a breath.
I'm going to do this one with overwhelm.
Yes, I was also thinking about doing this with worry. Yeah.
So that just goes to show you, you can just fill it in with what is true for you, and yeah, tap through it and see
Hmm.
what your body comes up with, because I feel like it would be very peaceful is the answer that just kept coming, just space and peace. And
Yes.
when I was thinking overwhelm when we would say anxious. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, because, for me personally, like I have new things coming on, and from past experiences, new things feel like a threat. So that's how you show up to it feeling
Mhm.
like a threat because it's new, instead of using tapping to help change my narrative to yes, it is new. It's normal to feel nervous about new things. It doesn't mean it's a threat. So to show up not feeling like something is a threat, this is what I will personally be tapping on. Like there's always something that comes from us having
Mm-hmm.
conversations on things that trigger for us to like, oh, that's something good to tap on.
Absolutely. I
Hmm.
agree. Is there anything else that you want to do? Or you think that's good?
Yeah, I think that's good. I
Okay.
think that that definitely, I mean, it resonated for us, so I'm hoping it resonates for,
Other people. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And of course, as always, if there's any ideas that you have or any topics you'd like us to tap on, please let us know. What is the email that's under our YouTube? Do you know? Tap
Tap,
for emotional freedom at
yes,
gmail.com.
yes.
Okay. So yeah, email tap for emotional freedom at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And hopefully that was helpful and that
Yes,
you
give it a
got
try.
something.
Try tap on it
Yes, definitely. I'm
and
going
let
to do
us
it.
know.
Yeah. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.